Okay, let's start with the lesson the fun they had. The fun they had. Who had the fun? The maybe the student of the future or maybe the student of the past. The story we shall read is set in the future when books and schools as we know now them will perhaps not exist. How will children study then? Okay, see the diagram below may give you some ideas. Learning through computer, they will learn from computer, virtual classes, robotic teachers, moving e-text. Maybe by using this they have fun. In pairs, discuss three things that you like best about your school and three things about your school that you would like to change. Whatever you want to change from your school, that you have to write them down in the paper and show it to your teacher. Have you ever read words on a television or computer screen? Can you imagine a time when all books will be on computers and there will be no books printed on paper? Would you like such books better? Which one is good, a printed books or the e-books? Which one is better? I'll go with the printed one because that gives a different charm for reading. It is good. That is my view. I don't know about yours. You can share it in by your messages, okay, by your comment. Okay, so now let's start. Margie even wrote about it that night in her diary. On the page headed 17th May 2157, 2157. Okay, means that is in the future. She wrote, today Tommy found a real book. What they found? A real book that we are using now, that they found in 17th May 2157. It was a very old book. So it was a very old for them. Okay. Marquis' grandfather once said that when he was a little boy, his grandfather, who is a little boy? Marquis' grandfather, when he was a little boy, so he was sharing his time, told him that there was a time when all stories were printed on paper. That is a very new thing for them, that the stories are printed on a paper. They turned the pages which were yellow and crinky. Crinky means that is having many folds or lines. So it is very crinky and it was awfully funny to read words that stood little instead of moving the way they were supposed to on a screen, you know. So that is for them it is very funny to turn pages to read words, but what they are doing, they are reading from the screen. Okay, and then when they turn back to the page before it had the same word on it and they had written when they read it for the first time, means the first word is the same one, turned back to the page, it had the same words on it, that it had when they read it the first time. That is the same words that they read for the first time. He said Tommy, what a waste. When you are through with the book, you just throw it away. Means the books are so waste. So what they are thinking, you just throw it away. I guess our television screen must have had a million books on it and it's good for plenty more. I wouldn't throw it away. So what they are comparing the paper book, the printed book, with the e-book. So what a waste, means the printed ones are the waste. When you are going through the book, you just throw it away. And our television screen, our monitor, our television screen had millions of books on it and plenty good more, and I wouldn't throw it away, and I will not throw it away. Same with mine, said Margie. She was 11 and had not seen as many telebooks as Tommy had. He was 13. Here Margie is 7 years old and Tommy is 13 years old. But Margie is having e-books. But here he hadn't seen as many telebooks as Tommy had. Okay. She said, where did you find it? So Margie asked that, where did you find it? In my house. He pointed without looking because he was busy in reading in the attic. Attic means a space just below the roof using a storeroom. That is, he found the book from the storeroom from his house. And what's it about? Margie asked that what is it about the book, what is the book is about. So he said that school, about the school. Margie was scornful. Scornful is showing you think something is worthless, that is scornful. And what's there to write about school? And what's there to write about school in the book? I hate school. So Margie said that I hate school. Margie always hated school, but now she hated it more than ever. The mechanical teacher had been giving her test after test in geography, and she had been doing worse and worse until her mother had shaken her head sorrowfully and sent for the county inspector. County inspector is a robot who repairs the other teachers, mechanical teachers. Okay, because in the future they are having mechanical teachers for repairing that mechanical teacher. There is a county inspector. So here the mechanical teacher had been giving test after test of geography, Margie's test, and she had been doing worse and worse until, why she is doing worse and worse until her mother shaken means they are complaining about the mechanical teacher is making some mistake maybe. So the robot who repair the other teachers come, her mother sent her for a county inspector. What's the problem? It will maybe it will find out. He was a round little man and a red face and a whole box of tools with dials and wires. The robot, a county inspector, was a little man with red face who is having a whole box of tools, dials and wires. He smiled at Margie and gave her an apple, then took the teacher apart. Margie had hoped that he wouldn't know how to put it together again, but he knew how all right, and after an hour or so, there it was again, large and black, ugly, with a big screen on which all the lessons were shown on and the questions were asked. That wasn't so bad. See here, he just took that mechanical teacher, and Margie had hoped that he wouldn't put it all together again. But he knew how all right, but that county inspector knew how to put it all right, and in half an hour it was again large and black, ugly, with ugly face, ugly big screen which all lessons are shown and questions are asked. So the part Margie hated, was the slot where she had to put homework. The slot you have to put homework and test papers there. Slot is a given space, time or position. She always had to write them out in a punch code, and they made her learn when she was 6 years old, and the mechanical teacher calculated the marks in no time because they are computers. They can check all the test papers within no time. So she had to write them out in a punch code and just submit it to the computer. They made her learn when she was 6 years old, and the mechanical teacher, she learned how to put the slot, how to write in a punch code in 6 years, and they can calculate the marks in no time. So punch code, what is punch code? A normal keyboard where we are type on it the message or the notes, whatever we have to type, that is punch code. The inspector had smiled after she was finished and patted Margie's head. She said to her mother, "It's not the little girl's fault. Scoring less marks, that is not little girl's fault, but Mrs. Jones, I think the geography sector was geared a little too quick." What county inspector said? That Mrs. Jones, I think the geography sector was geared a little too quick for that little girl. Those things happen sometime. With the machines. I have slowed it up to an average of 10-year level. Now what county inspector had done, it just slowed down the machine, the average of the for the 10-year level. Okay, actually the overall pattern of her progress is quite satisfactory. And county inspector also added that actually the overall pattern of her progress is quite satisfactory. Do not worry about. And he patted Margie's head, and again Margie's head. Margie was disappointed. Why Margie was disappointed now? She had been hoping that they would take the teacher away altogether, and they had once taken Tommy's teacher away for nearly a month. Okay, to just repair the mechanical teacher, because the history sector had blanked out completely, because his history sector blanked out completely. But Margie's mechanical teacher, just take county inspector, just take it half an hour to repair that machine, and just get it for the Margie. And here they had once taken Tommy's teacher away for nearly 1 month, because the history sector had blanked out completely. That's why it take 1 month. So she said to Tommy, why would anyone write about school? Now she said to Tommy that why would anyone write about school? Tommy looked at her with very superior eyes, because it's not our kind of school. He added that because it is not our kind of school, stupid, this is the old kind of schools that they had hundreds and hundreds of years ago. He added loftily. Loftily means in a superior way, pronouncing the words carefully, centuries ago. What does it mean? 100 years ago, hundreds and hundreds of years ago means centuries ago. Margie was hurt. Well, I don't know what kind of school they had all that time ago. She read the book over his shoulder for a while. They said, anyway, they had a teacher. And they are reading that old book, and Margie was hurt here. What he added, well, I don't know much about the school they had that time, but she is reading the book over his shoulder for a while. And what he added, that then said, anyway, they had a teacher, they had a human as a teacher. Sure, they had a teacher, but it wasn't a regular teacher, it was a man, because it was a man. That is not a mechanical teacher, it was a human, it was a man. So regular here is a normal of a usual kind. Regular teacher. A man, how could a man be a teacher? Now what she added, a man, how could be a man is a teacher, as a teacher? Well, he just told the boys and girls things and gave them homework and asked them questions. Now he is a human, he is a man as a teacher, and he just told the boys and girls and gave them homework and asked them questions. A man isn't smart enough. According to them, the computer is much smarter than the man. So what they said, a man isn't smart enough to teach us. Sure he is. My father knows as much as my teacher. Now what he added? Sure he is. Tommy said, my father know as much as my teacher. He knows almost as much, I bet you. Bet you me, that is an informal bet you, or I am sure. For the word I am sure, betcha is used for the informal one. He knows almost as much. Margie wasn't prepared to dispute that. She said, I wouldn't want a strange man in my house to teach me. Now she don't want to argue with Tommy. What she added, that she said, I wouldn't want a strange man in my house to teach me. Tommy screamed with laughter. You don't know much, Margie. The teachers didn't live in the house. They had a special building and all the kids went there. That is called school. So he just laughed at Margie. You don't know that they all go a separate building, that is the special building. All the kids went there to study. And all the kids learn the same thing. And all the kids learn the same things. Sure, if they were the same age. All the same age students will gather in one room and they learn the same thing. But my mother says a teacher has to be adjusted to fit the mind of each boy and girl it teaches, and that each kid has to be taught differently. Now here But my mother says a teacher has to be adjusted according to each boy or each girl, each student. Means they have to be taught differently for each kid. Just the same, they didn't do it that way then. If you don't like it, you don't have to read the book. So what they said, just the same, they didn't do it that way then. If you don't like the book, you don't have to read the book. I didn't say I didn't like it, Margie said quickly. She wanted to read about those funny schools, but she wanted to read about those funny schools. They weren't even half finished when Margie's mother called, Margie, school. So even they don't, they not even half finished. Then Margie's mother called for the school. Margie looked up. Not yet, Mama. Now come, said Mrs. Jones. Then it's probably time for Tommy too for the school. Then Margie said to Tommy, can I read the book some more with you after school? Then she asked to read some more pages after the school. Maybe she had nonchalantly he walked away whistling the dusty old book tucked beneath his arm. Nonchalantly means not showing much interest, very carelessly, casually. He tucked his that old dusty book beneath his arm and go away for the school. Margie went to the schoolroom. It was right next to her bedroom, and the mechanical teacher was on and waiting for her. It was always on that same time every day except Saturday and Sunday. Except Saturday and Sunday, mechanical teachers are on time all weekdays, because her mother said little girl learn better if they learn at regular hours. If regular hours, if for you all guys also, if regularly you are learning the things, you will get the things very quickly. The screen was lit up and it said, today's arithmetic lesson is on the addition of proper fraction. Now the mechanical teacher start giving the lessons is on the addition of proper fractions. That is about the proper fractions, that is arithmetic lesson. Please insert yesterday's homework in the proper slot. Now what they command to Margie that please insert yesterday's homework in the proper slot. Then Margie did so with a sigh, and she was thinking about the old school that they had when her grandfather's grandfather was a little boy. All the kids from the whole neighborhood came laughing, shouting in the schoolyard. What she's thinking about that, what fun they are having. All whole neighborhood came laughing, shouting in the schoolyard, sitting together in the schoolroom, going home together at the end of the day. So they learned the same thing, so they could help one another with the homework too, and what they talked about. So that is very fun part about olden schools, what they are doing. They are fun by having all together. They are sitting doing homework, they are learning same thing, so it is very helpful to do homework easily. And the teachers were people. And then what she is thinking Margie at the time when the mechanical teacher was flashing on the screen, when we add fractions 1 upon 2 and 1 upon 4, and what mechanical teacher is dictating here on the screen, Margie was thinking about how the kids much have loved in that old days. Means they are having fun in the olden days school. She was thinking about the fun they had in the olden time. So this is the lesson, and it was written by Isaac Asimov, and that is the future lesson. Future, when they are having mechanical teachers and all the children are learning separately in their home, in their room. So that is not at all, maybe that is not at all of fun, because they are not having friends, they are not laughing, sitting together, fun, having fun in the schoolyard and screaming and doing homework. So that is not a fun part. But the olden school, this is the time when we are having fun, we are having schools. So I think you guys understand the lesson.